Welcome to this eclipse edition of the Astrological Weather Report. My name is Daniel Fiverson. I am a certified evolutionary astrologer of the Evolutionary Astrologer Network, taught by Kimmery Weiner, and I am also trained in the Jeffrey Wolfgreen School of Evolutionary Astrology. I publish frequent astrological weather reports here on EA Zoom, on Facebook, and on my website, evolutionaryastrologer.net. I encourage and appreciate your feedback. Feel free to email me directly at daniel@evolutionaryastrologer.net. On April 20th, 2023, at 12:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, the first of two eclipses occurs. A hybrid eclipse will occur at 29 degrees Aries 50 minutes. This eclipse is part of Saros cycle 129 and will be visible in Asia, Australia, and the Philippines. I will record the forecast for the lunar eclipse in a few days. The last eclipse in this series occurred in April 2005. That month, the first YouTube video was uploaded. That year, North Korea announced that they had nuclear weapons. Prince Charles married Camilla Parker Bowles, he has now become King Charles. Hurricane Katrina devastated the U.S. Gulf Coast. Angela Merkel became the first female chancellor of Germany. As this total eclipse occurs, U.S. Special Forces are boots on the ground in Ukraine. Donald Trump has been indicted in New York on 34 felony counts connected to his role in paying hush money to a porn star. A federal investigation, now in the hands of a special counsel, is investigating his efforts to reverse his defeat at the polls in 2020 and his role in the events that led to the storming of the Capitol by his supporters on January 6, 2021. The special counsel is also looking at his handling of classified materials found at his home in Florida. A Georgia prosecutor is in the final stages of an investigation into Donald Trump's attempts to reverse the election results in that state. China has been practicing the invasion of Taiwan, beginning with practicing cutting undersea internet cables in advance of an assault on the island. China has also begun to take part and assist Russia in the war in Ukraine. Another U.S. Supreme Court justice has been exposed to questionable ethics. And gun violence in the United States continues to be in the daily news and continues to escalate. Significantly, this eclipse occurs at the final degree of Aries. This anaretic degree greatly intensifies the event and necessitates the resolution of any issue still hanging fire relative to the Aries archetype. Aries is the cardinal expression of the fire element. It is yang, energy moving outward from the center. It is active, positive, bright, hard, male, dry, daytime, upward-seeking, and restless. Aries represents the original anxiety of separation from the womb. The sign on the ascendant, the house that Aries rules, and the house and sign that Aries is in all correlate to the phenomenon of becoming. Aries is the initiatory phase of the self-actualization process. It correlates to birth, the instinctive, non-cognitive beginning of life. Ruled by planet Mars, Aries is associated with anger, rage, and war. It can express as violence, impatience, and narcissism. It correlates to desires, sexual instinct, and the need for freedom and independence and personal initiative. It manifests as the pioneer, warrior, explorer, and destroyer. And this is paraphrased from the Jeffrey Wolf Green School of Evolutionary Astrology. At this powerful new moon, Jupiter, Eris, Chiron, and Asteroid Astraea join the sun and moon in Aries. Jupiter is conjunct Eris, Greek goddess of strife and discord, a volatile combination. Jupiter is the planet of expansion and enlarges whatever it touches. Some astrologers like to frame Jupiter as beneficent, making things better. Jupiter makes everything bigger, but not necessarily better. Eris is held culpable for the onset of the Trojan War. However, a number of Greek playwrights and authors hold Helen of Troy responsible as, quote, the face that launched 1,000 ships and burnt the topless towers of Ilium. The eventual outcome of that tragic event was the founding of the Roman Empire, when Aeneas, a Trojan royal, sailed to Italia and married into the royal lineage. His future generations founded the city of Rome and the culture it produced, which is still vibrant today after more than 2,000 years. Astraea was the virgin goddess of innocence and purity. During the Golden Age, she dwelt upon the earth with mankind, but was driven away by the increasing lawlessness of the subsequent Bronze Age. Zeus then set her amongst the stars as the constellation Virgo. Astraea was closely identified with goddesses Dike, justice, and Nemesis, rightful indignation. Excuse me. Chiron is known as the wounded healer, was the mentor to all Greek classical age heroes. Wounds that activate homeopathic healing modalities can be inflicted for festering individual and collective illnesses. At the lunation, the luminaries are conjunct asteroid Vesta and the lunar north node in the early degrees of Taurus. Vesta correlates to our authenticity and sacred commitment to self. Eclipses are breakdowns or breakthrough events. Significant people enter and leave the planet when the celestial portals are open during the 4-week eclipse period. At the eclipse, the sun and moon make a tight, out-of-sign first quarter crisis in action square to Pluto at the 0-degree point of Aquarius. The 0 degree in any sign is the astrological point that is saturated with the archetypal concentration, not yet diluted by the interaction with the following sign. This contrasts the anaretic degree, which has nearly completely completed progressing through the archetype and is at the final transition point. Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius squares the lunar nodes in Taurus and Scorpio, and Pluto rules the lunar south node, which is the resolution step, resolution node. In evolutionary astrology, a planet squaring the nodes is called a skip step. Something essential for evolutionary development has been bypassed and must now be addressed and resolved. As with Pluto as the ruler of that lunar south node, there's something of the past that needs to be healed and corrected and reimagined. The archetype of Aquarius is about objectivity and mental clarity. Pluto is about the handling of power. Power has been misused. It has been given away or taken away. By the Scorpio full moon lunar eclipse in 2 weeks, Pluto's opposition to strategist Pallas Athena will reveal through dramatic, emotionally charged events where we need to get at arm's length with the current state of our world and recognize where the work needs to be done to heal the energetic imbalances in the world around us. The ruler of this eclipse, Mars, is in Cancer, the repository of our self-image, our ego. Ruled by the moon, Cancer correlates to the emotional body. Mars correlates to the choices we make. The lunar north node is an array of probable futures. What we choose in the present, influenced by our innate emotional nature, determines which future will manifest. The concentration of celestial energies in Aries and Taurus can feel overwhelming. Our instinctual stuff is being exhumed and percolates to the surface. Self-interest, self-importance, self-reliance. Mercury conjunct Uranus in Taurus, underscored by Venus in Gemini, can overwhelm cognitive awareness, causing cognitive dissonance. Survival feels threatened as Jupiter stresses Neptune. Opinion masquerades as fact and becomes a belief. All of these celestial conditions, the anaretic degree of the lunation, the archetype of Aries and Mars, the underlying emotional nature of the moon and Cancer, Pluto squaring the lunar nodes, Jupiter and Eris, and the correlating influences of the conjoined asteroids suggests a deep transformational emotional event with a long-term influence on the future. Volatility runs high over the next few weeks. World events totter on the edge of a precipice. In our own lives, we feel the dice are loaded and might come up snake eyes. The Hopis tell us climate change, war, and pestilence are happening because man is out of balance with nature. Our world is increasingly being surrounded by lawlessness, dystopia, the moon that circles Eris and one of her children. This correlates directly with the mythology of the Roman god Astraea, who is driven away by the increasing lawlessness. The fourth world is ending, but this time the fifth world is emerging simultaneously. We will not have to go underground as we did 12,000 years ago. We are the ones we have been waiting for. Get back in your body and remember to breathe. We are stardust, children of the stars, and all of the cosmos is within us. Make it a necessity to spend time where there are no city lights. Gaze up at the wonder of what surrounds us. We are not flesh and blood. We are light. If you would like to learn more about the eclipses, here are two really good links. One is from NASA and the other is from earthsky.org. And also here's a link to Jamie Sam's Other Council Fires Were Here Before Ours, which is a great, great book to really begin to learn about Hopi prophecy. This is how you can reach me. I do consultations that help you find your purpose, feel your passion. I do astrological weather reports here often, regularly on my website, evolutionaryastrology.net, here on EA Zoom, on Facebook, and on YouTube at D. Fiverson. You can reach me at daniel@evolutionaryastrology.net. I thank you all so much for taking the time to listen, and hopefully we'll take something away that will be helpful and useful. Be safe, be kind, be patient. Namaste.